morning, student. Welcome to the first lecture of computer organization. We are Imperial College, Berhampur. Welcome you all first year student to a new session with computer organization. As the name suggests, organization, architecture, the these terms are related to computers, whereas computer organization is related to hardware, where architecture is related to softwares. These two terms are often confusing among students, but let's we have a clear discussion about computer organization as well as computer architecture, and should at the end of this discussion should overcome the confusing states of our mind. So first of all, I will learn about computer organization. So a computer organization is concerned with the the way the hardware components operates and the way they are connected together to form a computer system. So computer organization is concerned with the hardware, the way the hardware components operates and the way they are connected together to form a computer system. So computer organization is always concerned with the hardware of the computer systems. So what does computer organization comprises, or what does computer organization consist of? It is all related to hardwares. How the hardwares are built. Hardware in the sense the integrated circuits, because every subpart of the computer are made from circuits and some cables. So how the integrated circuits have been divided, what is the design mechanism of the integrated circuits, or we call it ICs. Already you have read in computer fundamentals what are integrated circuits, what are LSI, large scale integrated circuits, what are VLSI, very large scale integrated circuits. So the computer organization tells about us the design mechanism of an integrated IC, means integrated circuits, and how these integrated circuits can be used. Not every circuit integrated circuit will be used in each and every place where we require. For every purpose there will be a new kind of integrated circuits, there will be a new design mechanism of circuits. So these design mechanisms and buildings and developing integrated circuits, all these studies related to these things have come under computer organization. The next term is computer architecture. Related to this, as I have told you, this architecture is related to computer architecture is related to software. The computer architecture is a science or a set of rules stating how computer softwares and hardwares are joined together and interact to make a computer work. Computer architecture consists of three main categories. So what does this computer architecture? This computer, as I have told you, computer architecture is all about softwares. So architecture decides what hardware should use which kind of software, because as we know that hardwares are lifeless non-living things, but software makes them lively. That means it makes them work. So every hardware has different functions. So that functionality is defined by the software. For example, I can give you an example. Calculator. There is a small chip in the calculator. It has been programmed through softwares so that it can perform all mathematical calculations. Similarly, there is another circuit is called is a digital speedometer. The software is programmed likely so in such a way that the software is designed in such a way that it can calculate the speed of the vehicle. So see, same piece of metal can perform different tasks, but the heart, the core is the software which gives or defines its functionality. According to the coding in the software, the hardware behaves. The next one is, as I have told you, that the computer architecture consists of three things. One is system design, next is instruction architecture, and third one is micro architecture. These are the three things. So first of all, we will discuss about computer architecture, system design. This includes, as I have told you, now the computer architecture is all mainly related to softwares, but it also discusses how the software and hardware are interrelated, how a particular software can give a particular functionality to a hardware. Hence, the computer architecture discusses a bit of hardware as well as a lot of software. So the first concept arises is a system design. It's a part of computer architecture. This includes all the hardware parts such as CPU, data processor, multiprocessor, memory controller, and direct memory access. This part is the actual computer system. So this system design part comprises the different hardware parts and their interconnections. Next is instruction set architecture. So now it comes to software part. In instruction set architecture, which includes the CPU's functions and capabilities, the CPU's languages, data formats, processor registers type, and instruction used by computer programmer. This part is the software that makes it run, such as Windows, the Photoshop, or similar programs. So the instruction set architecture means what? Every programming, because we have learned that there are three types of programming: low level, high level, and middle level. Low level programming uses different instruction format. High level programming uses different instruction format, and middle level programming uses different instruction formats. So the instruction set architecture defines what kind of format the software is going to acquire. So the instruction set architecture defines what kind of format the software is going to use. That is, if it is a high level language, or it is going to use the middle level language, or it is going to low level language. The instruction Then the microarchitecture. This defines the microarchitecture defines the data processing and storage elements or data paths and how they should be implemented into the instruction set architecture. This might include DVD storage, device or similar devices. All these parts go together in a certain order and must be developed in a pattern to so they will fun. So microarchitecture defines what? Once we have defined the instruction set, what kind of instruction format we are using, then to implement the instruction format, because see, different kind of instruction format, generally instructions use data. Without data, the most of the instructions are data centric. Some are logical, but most are operating upon data. So main fact in the computer is data. So instructions operates upon data. So these data, from where we'll get this data, is determined by the microarchitecture. So we can say that microarchitecture and the instruction set architecture work tandemly to perform a specific task. And the microarchitecture takes the responsibility of both processing and storing. Once instruction is ready, it should be processed, and the processing and storing information. Once after processing, we will get a new result. So the raw data as well as with the processor data, where should we store the data? It is defined by the microarchitecture, and how the instructions will be processed, that is also defined by the microarchitecture. These three, system design, instruction set architecture and microarchitecture, combinedly form the computer architecture. Next is logical signals. Logic signals are nothing but these are the electric signals. Generally electric signals are only two states, that is on and off. Every electric signals can have only, each and every electric signal can have only two states, that is on and off. Either it is on or off. So the on is always, see, we are, so these because we are using nowadays digital computers, so digital computers only understand digits, and information is passed through signals. The signal is always electric or electromagnetic. Hence the electric or electromagnetic signal is converted to digital numbers by using binary systems. So we will say that binary information can be represented in a digital computer by physical quantities called signals. So if we have any data and that should be processed in a computer, first of all the data should be converted into binary, because the computer is operated upon electromagnetic signals, and the electromagnetic signal, so we have to convert our data into electromagnetic signal. So by using binary number systems, we can easily convert our data to electromagnetic signals. So we will say that so the binary information is converted to binary signals to operate up to perform some task. Binary information can be represented in a digital computer. So our data in the data on the outside world can be represented in the digital computer, can be fed to the computer through by using binary logic only. Electric signals such as voltage exist throughout the computer in either one of the two states, two recognized states, that is low and high, as I have told you. the two states represent a binary variable that can be equal to 1 or 0. Manipulation of binary information is done by logic circuits called logic gates. So as I have told you, the binary signal has two states, low and high. Hence the two states can be represented by a binary variable, because the binary variables has also two states, either 0 or 1. Each binary variable can take only two values, that is either 0 or 1. So hence the high state is represented by the 1 and the low state is represented by the 0. And the binary logic is implemented by a device called logic gates. So now we'll see what are logic gates. Gates are blocks of hardware that produce signal of binary 1 or 0 when input logic requires are satisfied. So gate are nothing but blocks of hardware through which we input some electric signals. Each signal is one of the two states, that is each signal is always in one of the two states, either 0 or 1. After taking the inputs, the gates operates upon the inputs and gives us output, that is also in the form of 0 or 1. A logic gate is a building block of a signal digital circuit. Most logic gates have two inputs and one output and are based upon Boolean algebra. So as I have told you that logic gates take electric signals as input and processes them. And electric signals are represented in a digital computer. The binary logic is represented by the electric signals. Hence, the processing of this logic gates is monitored by or controlled by theory called Boolean algebra. By using Boolean algebra, we define the processing of the signal inside the gate. Two or more logic gates combine together to form a circuit. Now binary logic, as we have discussed now, what is binary logic? Binary logic deals with binary variables. As we are in our real world, we are dealing with decimal variables, but where decimal, because it has 10 type of 10 digits, 0 to 9. Similarly, binary number system has 2 digits starting from 0 to 1. So it can very easily represent two states of electromagnetic signal, that is high or low. So the binary logic deals with the binary variables and some operator. As every logic, whether it is a decimal number system or it is a binary number system, every number system has some operators and some operands predefined. Similarly, binary logic also has some operators that can be a binary variable or a binary number, binary digit, and some operators, basically 3 operators, and or not. We will say that logical multiplication, logical addition, and complement. These 3 are the binary operators. It is used to describe a algebraic or tabular form. So the operation on binary logic, binary variables can be described by using algebra called Boolean algebra or a truth table. The manipulation is done by logic circuits called gates. So obviously we have already discussed about it. The logic gates process the or manipulates the inputted electric signal through this gates. Gates are blocked. We have already discussed about gates. So there are different kinds of gates as they are listed here: AND, OR, NOT, NAND, NOR, XOR, XNOR. These are the gates we are discussing in our next lecture. So this is an introductory class of computer organization. In the next lecture, we will discuss about various gates that we have come across now that are being used to manipulate the binary signal. Thank you.